So when cash inflows are unequal, there are different cash inflows are there. Then you have to apply this formula. You have to apply this formula. What is that? Base year plus required amount by next year cash inflows. Required cash inflows. So like this, if you see this base year, what is the base year? Where is that major amount is involved? 18,000, because we have 18,500. Yes. So base year is this. Base year is third year, because by plus required amount. How much amount is required for us? 18,000 plus 500 is required. So 500, 3 plus 500 by next year cash inflow, because it is from this 18,500, 500 is included in the next year. So that's why next year cash inflow 2,000 means it's taking 3 years 25 to 2.3.2 means 3 years 2 months like that. 3 years 2 months like that it is taking approximately to get back our original investment. To get back our original investment, it is taking 3 years 2 months. 3 years 2 months or 3.25 years it is taking to get back our original investment. So like this project is it accepted or rejected? 3.25 years means accepted or rejected. Project is accepted because payback period is 3.25 years, is less than the project period. Yes, project period is 5 years. Yes, project period is 5 years. So that's why it is giving back our original investment within 3.25 years. So like this we can have a payback period calculation by applying these formulas. So this is what payback period that we can calculate. Understand? If you have any questions, you can ask. Now this is what the payback period calculation. This is one technique that we can use the payback period to get back. Only the payback period is been used only to calculate the time period. Only to calculate the time period. Okay, so that's why it is only time period. But are you investing only to get back your original investment, or are you investing for returns? So we have to check the returns also, no? But payback period is checking only the time period to get back our original investment. So that's why advantage of payback period is that easy to calculate. It is useful for small firms which are looking for immediate liquidity. Immediately, if they want to get back their capital, small firms looking for immediate liquidity, they can use this payback period formula or payback period technique to evaluate their project. And payback period deals with risk also, because how much risk it is taking. If it is taking more than the project period, very risky. If it is less than the project period, if it is giving returns or original investment back, it is good. So that's why payback deals with risk also. And the firms which are facing the liquidity problem can use the payback period method. Payback period method can be used when the firms are facing the liquidity. Liquidity means cash problem. Immediately they want cash back. When they want capital back, then how many years it take to get back their liquidity or capital, so that they can use this payback period. And disadvantage of a payback period is that it ignores the cash inflows which occur after payback period, because here whatever we are getting here, how many year payback period is, how much? Here payback period is how much? 4 years. What about 5th year cash inflows? We are not considering. Yes, after payback period, whatever the cash inflows are coming, we are not considering. So that's why it ignores the cash inflows which are occur after payback period. It ignores the returns. Why you are investing in the projects? You are investing in the projects for returns. But are you calculating any returns here? No. You are calculating only the time period which is taking to get back our original investment. So it is not suitable to get to calculate the returns. So this may not be useful for big companies, because big companies, they never look for capital back return, capital original investment back. They look for returns, less risk with more returns. So that's why this may useful for big companies which are running with a sufficient liquidity. If they are running with a sufficient amount, sufficient liquidity, they don't want this time period. They want only the returns. How much time, if I invest, how much return I should get, I will get. So that is what here a payback period is not calculating the returns, it ignoring the returns. It is only concentrating the time period. This is what the payback period calculation for the projects. This is what the payback period calculation for the projects. Next one is that another traditional method is that accounting or average rate of return or annual rate of return, ARR. Another technique of capital budgeting. Another technique of capital budgeting is that annual rate of return or average rate of return. Average rate of return. How do we calculate this? So this method is specially here itself. The terminology itself is saying that rate of return. So this technique concentrating on technique concentrating on rate of return, not the time period. Okay, so that's why takes into account earnings expected. Earnings they may consider from investment over entire life of the asset or life of the project. Over entire life of the project, how much cash inflows are coming, how many returns are coming. Based on that returns, they calculate the rate of return. And if rate of return is good, the project would be accepted. If rate of return is not good, it may be rejected. Decision is that the project with a higher rate of return is accepted. The project with a higher rate of return is accepted. One is, it is calculated as follows. It is calculated as follows. Simple formulas. You have to remember these formulas. ARR is equals annual earnings. ARR is equals average annual earnings by average investment times 100. This is what the formula to calculate ARR, average annual earnings. What is this average annual earnings? Average annual earnings is equals, that is numerator, that's equals total income by number of years. Total income by number of years. You have to remember these formulas. Then only you can calculate the project valuation. Okay. Average investment, denominator. What is the denominator? Average investment. Average investment is equals investment by 2. Investment by 2. This is what the numerator, denominator formulas and calculations. And original investment method. This is not required. Just you follow this formula. That's enough. Another formula is also there. You can take average annual earnings by original investment also you can take. Instead of taking average investment, you can take original investment also. This is another formula. But most of the times it is better. Accurate calculation is that when you are averaging the annual earnings, investment also must be averaged. So that's why both the ways you can calculate, both the ways it is correct only. So this is what, let's see one example. Say for example, calculate ARR for the project A and B from the following. What are those? Investment, project A is 20,000, project B 20,000 is investment. Yes, 20,000 is investment. Expected life of the project. Expected life of the project is project A 4 years, project B 5 years. Okay, these are the investment and expected life of the project. Now projected net incomes means cash inflows, projected incomes. What are those projected incomes? For I think projected incomes are project A 4 years. Yes, 4 years project cash inflows. If they invest 20,000 every year, they are getting this much returns, net income. And project B, project B, how many years time period? 5 years. If they invest, if they invest 30,000, they are expecting every year 5 years, the 3,000 like this. These are the incomes expected. Total 4 years for project A, 6,000. For project B, 10,000. Project B, 10,000. Yeah, these are the expected projected incomes. Now you calculate by applying the formula, you calculate the rate of return. Now you calculate the rate of return by applying the formula. What is the formula? ARR is equals average annual earnings by average investment times 100. Okay. For project A, we calculate average earnings is equals. I already told you earnings by number of years. How many earnings? How much? Total earnings 6,000. Yes. Project A number of years. Project A number of years how much? 4 years. So like this 6,000 total income by number of years for project A, that is average earnings is 1,500. Average investment, I already told you original investment by 2. Original investment is 20,000 for project A by 2, that is 10,000. Okay, so ARR is equals 1,500 by 10,000. That is average earnings by average investment times 100. That is equals 15% is the rate of return. 15% is the rate of return. Yeah, 15% is the rate of return. Now, that is what the calculation of ARR. And project B, if you see average earnings, same formula you can calculate. Average, what are the total income? 10,000. I already calculated this. By number of years, project B, 5 years. That's equals 2,000. Average investment, that is investment is 30,000. By 2, average investment is at 15,000. So ARR is equals 2,000 by 15,000 times 100. That's equals 13.33. Which project do you accept? Which project rate of return is more? Which project rate of return is more? And which project do you accept? Geto, which project is accepted? Which project is accepted? Which project return is higher? Anyone? Birhan.
Project A.
Project A, because accounting rate of return, average rate of return is project A is 15%. Yeah, project B is 13.33%. So that project A is accepted. So like this, we can have calculation like this: ARR based on the investment, based on the net incomes that they received. We can calculate the rate of return, and we can decide which project is accepted. Okay. But limitations of ARR. What is this limitations? It is considering only rate of return, but not time. Yeah. But not time. How much time it is taking, and it is only concentrating only on rate of return. It's not calculating time. But payback period, it is considering the time, but not rate of return. Yeah. So that's why that combination of these two, okay, payback period and ARR do not consider the time value of money. How much time, how much value it is giving. So that's why both the payback period and ARR not considering the time value of money. That's why we are taking a modern or discounted or time adjusted techniques. That's why TVM, time value of money, also we are considering here. TVM also considered here. Time value of money also considered here. What are those time value of money? By considering the time, by considering the value of money and the rate of return, we have to calculate the project returns, whether it is accepted or rejected. So under this, we calculate the net present value and we calculate the profitability index. We calculate the internal rate of return. There are three techniques that are available for calculating the project returns, or project is accepted or rejected. This is a modern technique, and we are considering discounting also. You are expecting future returns. Yeah, you are expecting the future return. Future return must be have some present value. Yes, we have to discount the future returns because of uncertainty, because of inflation, because of uncertainty. Your future cash inflows are must be discounted, because we expecting the inflation. After 5 years, what will happen? You don't know. After 5 years, the cost may be increased because of inflation. That's why we are taking this as a discounting the future returns. Discounting the future returns we are calculating. That's why we can discounted cash flow technique, we can say that. DCF. This is also called DCF techniques. This is also called DCF techniques. DCF means discounted cash flow. DCF means discounted cash flow technique also, we can say that. How do we calculate this? How do we calculate this? Discounted cash flow techniques. Okay. So first one is that in this method, cash flows are considered with the time value of money. Time value of money. Time as well as value of money, both we are considering. So what is this? NPV. NPV can be calculated like this. How do we calculate the NPV? NPV can be calculated like this. Present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows. Present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows. You know how to calculate the present value. Yeah, we have the formula. We have the formula to calculate the present value. Present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows. So decision rule, how do we accept or reject the project? The project is accepted if present value of cash inflows are more than present value of cash outflows. When present value of cash inflows are more than present value of cash outflows, means NPV is positive, project is accepted. NPV is negative, project is rejected. So how do we calculate when NPV is positive or negative? Whether positive or NPV. Let's take one example. Okay, one more. This is NPV. One more technique. This is another technique, we can say that. And one more technique, we can say that profitability index. Profitability index. What is the profitability index? As the NPV method is, it shows that project is accepted or not. If probability index is higher than 1, probability index is higher than 1, the proposal can be accepted. Accepted probability index is greater than 1. Rejected probability index is less than 1. What is that? How do we calculate this probability index? Probability index can be calculated like that. Present value of cash inflows by present value of cash outflows. Here NPV formula, what is that? Present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows for NPV. For probability index, by same formula but by we are taking. Yeah, same formula we are changing. So it should be greater than 1. Then only project is accepted. Let's see how do we calculate this. This is what one example. The expected cash flows. The expected cash flows of a project are how many years? Project is 5 years. Cash inflows expected, cash flows expected is that 20, 30, 40, 50, 30. The cash outflow means investment. Cash outflow means investment. Cash outflow means investment. And the cost of capital. How much return they are expecting? Cost of capital. How much cost they are incurring? How much return they are expecting? That 10% cost of capital. Cost of capital, how much they are expecting? 10%. 10% they are expecting. So calculate and suggest this project should be accepted by using techniques like NPV and probability index. Okay, probability index. What is that? We can calculate like this. This is what the calculation. This is what the calculation. We can do this. What is that? Year, number of years, 5. Cash flows already given, 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50, 30,000. And PV factors. This is what discounting factor. This value you can calculate on your own, or PV factor values is available on internet. You can take the printout also. PV factor values. In examinations, these values are eligible. You can take the paper to exam also, these values. Or you can calculate it on your own. 1 by 1 plus r power of n. The present future value by r 1 by 1 plus r power of n. There is a formula to calculate this value. What is this value? We are discounting the future value at the rate of 10%. At the rate of 10%, because future is uncertain, inflation may increase, cost may increase. That's why your future values are being discounted with the cost of capital. At 10% value is that we are discounting with 0.909, 0.826 at a 10% value. This is a table value. This table value I'll send you the table values. That table values you can take to examination also. You can take to examination also. Okay. So this is the 10% discounting factor. PV factors we can present value. PV means present value means discounting. Yes. Discounting technique. So that's why we are discounting. So these are the values for 5 years. So 10 year, 1 year, first year, 20,000 times 0.909. How much is coming? We have to multiply these two. Cash flows times PV factors. Cash flows times PV factor. You can multiply this. 30,000 times 826, 40,000 times 751, 50,000 times 0.8683, 30,000 times 0.620. These are the PV factors, present value factors. So these are the values that you are getting after multiplying. After multiplying, these are the values that you are getting. Present value of cash inflows. This is present value of cash inflows. Now you calculate total. You combine sum of total present value of cash inflows, present value of cash inflows. This is what? Present value of cash inflows. Sum of all these values. Sum of all these values, 1,25,750 minus less. What is the formula for calculating NPV? Present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows. What is the present value of cash outflow? What is the investment? What is the investment? 100,000. Yes. Outflow. So that is 100,000 is outflow. Present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows 1 lakh. NPV is equals 25,750. Is it negative or positive? Is it negative or positive? Your cash inflows are higher than yes.
Positive.
A negative or positive?
Positive.
Yeah, positive. So project should be accepted or rejected?
Accepted.
Yeah, accepted. So NPV is negative, positive, project is accepted. Yes. Now PV, probability index. We know the formula of probability index. What is the probability index? Present value of cash inflows by present value of cash outflows. Present value of cash inflows how much? 125, 750, outflow 100,000. If you take 1.2575 is greater than 1, yes? So probability index must be greater than 1, then only project should be accepted. So probability index is greater than 1. So it is also accepted, yeah? As per PI, as per NPV, both are accepted. As per PI, as per NPV, both are accepted. Both are accepted. So like this is what the calculation of NPV and probability index. NPV and probability index. So now understood that, I think, NPV and probability index. Only problem is that this sometimes this percentage may be 15%. This percentage may be 20%, but this percentage may change. As per this percentage change, the PV factors also changes. I'll show you the table also. I'll give you the table, PV factor tables. I think even you can search on Google also. You can get that PV factor tables. PV factor tables, if you take here, easily you can get that. Even in Google also you can get this. Even Google also you can get that. So you see. You see, table period is, this is period. Are you able to see? This is period 5 years. This is a 10 years period and present value factor. At what rate we calculated that? 10%, yeah? This 10% means, you see, first year, period 1, 10%, 0.90. Second year, okay, 0.90, like this. These tables I will share you. These tables, PV factor tables, I will share you later. If you want, I can share you that. I'll share you the tables, no problem. That PV factor tables. Like this, calculation of NPV and IRR. Now, one more thing is that internal rate of return. One more technique of capital budgeting is that internal rate of return. What is that internal rate of return? Is the rate of return that a project earns, internal rate of return that project earns, the rate of discount calculated by trial and error. Okay, where the present value of future cash inflows are equal to the present value of cash outflows. Equal. For NPV calculation, we are taking that minus, yeah? But here, present value of cash inflows must be equal to present value of cash outflows. That is what internal rate of return. So it is to find exact rate of return where present value of cash inflows are equal to present value of cash outflows. Exact rate of return. Here you see NPV. Here you see NPV is a positive. Yeah. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative. But exact rate of return I want. At what rate my NPV gets 0? At what rate my NPV gets 0? So to find that, there is a procedure for this. To find the internal rate of return, to find out the exact rate of return, I need to follow these steps. First, find out the PV factor, whether it is 10% or 10%, 20% or whatever. Find out the negative and positive NPV. Okay, you have to find out the negative and positive NPV. Apply the formula. Apply the below formula. What is that? LR plus NPV at lower rate. LR means lower rate plus NPV at lower rate by NPV at a lower rate minus NPV at a higher rate. Simply you take this formula. Lower rate plus NPV of lower rate, difference in cash flows times difference in rate. Difference in rate. Please remember this formula. Remember this formula so that we can calculate. If we calculate one thing, you will understand this. LR means lower rate discount rate. Higher HR means higher discount rate. Both are we are taking discount factors, lower rate and higher rate. By taking trial and error method, where exactly the rate of return equals to NPV, no positive NPV, no negative NPV. Exact we are calculating. Now you see this. Now you calculate this calculation of IRR for the above example. For the above example means this 20,000 we have taken, no, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 like this. For this we are calculating IRR. IRR must be this you need to follow. Find out the PV factor, find out the negative positive NPV, apply the formula. These are the 3 steps to calculate that. Computation of IRR. First let us take cash inflows that are there. PV factor at 19%, cash inflows, PV factor at 18%, cash inflows. Okay. So you calculate the PV at 19% values you have to take. And you have to multiply this and you have to apply this total cash inflows, present value of cash inflows minus cash outflows 1 lakh. NPV is here negative. Next, PV factor at 18%. What is that? 18% PV factor values you have to take. This 20,000 times 847, 30,000 times 78718. So like this PV factors times cash flows we have to calculate at 18%. 18% how it is coming? It is a positive is coming. So at 19% positive negative NPV, at 18% positive NPV. So my rate of return, internal rate of return. Where is my internal rate of return? Where is my internal rate of return? Where is my internal rate of return? Okay. So you can apply this formula. After apply this formula, lower rate. What is the lower rate here? 18 plus lower rate is 18 plus NPV at lower rate. NPV at lower rate how much? NPV at lower rate 1750. Yeah, this is 1750. 1750. Next, difference in cash flows. Difference in cash flows means how much is the difference between these two? Difference in cash flows 99,250 minus 1,01,750. Difference in cash flows 2,500 times difference in rate. What is the rate and difference? 19% and 18%. Difference rate in 1% is difference. So my internal rate of return is 15.7%. 15.7%. That is what my internal rate of return. That is my internal rate of return. If you take 19%, it is negative. If we take 18%, it is positive. Then in between internal rate of return is 15.7% is the rate of return. So like this, internal rate of return can be calculated by taking a higher value and lower value of the a PV factor, cost of capital and PV factor. So like this, you can calculate difference in cash flows means you have to differentiate these two, 99,250 present value of cash inflows. So like this, you can calculate NPV IRR like this. So calculate the NPV probability index of two projects. Here I'm giving you some examples here on calculations. Just you calculate your NPV IRR probability index for the following projects. In your examination, maybe NPV calculation, probability index calculations may come. Be careful. You can calculate these formulas. I have given examples. Here I have given examples. You can calculate. This NPV probability index calculations. Here I have given some examples. You try at your house. You try at your home so that it can be done. So risk and uncertainty in capital budgeting. Risk and uncertainty in capital budgeting. What is that risk and uncertainty? In capital budgeting requires the projection of cash inflows and outflows of the future. That the future is always uncertain. So the following techniques are used to select. The following techniques are used to select the best project by considering the risk and uncertainty. Risk and uncertainty we can calculate. What is that? Risk adjusted cutoff rate, probability technique, and standard deviation. Standard deviation. These are the techniques that we can use for risk adjusted methods for uncertain future uncertain. Risk adjusted cutoff rate is that this is the simplest method of while calculating the risk of the capital budgeting. So just increase the cutoff rate or discount rate factor by certain percent of the on accounting of risk. Just you have to increase the risk factor. That's enough. Nothing is different. Say for example, Tata estimated considering two investment proposals X and Y, each costing 1,50,000. The estimated cash flows after tax are as follows. This is the company targets 10% and discount rate factor, and the risk premium rate is 2%. Risk premium rate is 2% and 8% is respectively. So just for this 10%, you have to add these 2%. That's enough. Total 12%. This 10% plus 8% per project Y, 18%. Just you have to add and calculate the NPV. That's enough. Only the difference is that.